guys, it's Rose. Welcome back to Journals in Time, and welcome if you're new. So, Lá Féile le Fádraig Agüit. It is St. Patrick's Day here today. I don't know if you are going to get to see this video on St. Patrick's Day, but it is Patrick's Day here nonetheless. So yeah, Lá Féile le Fádraig Agüit. Okay, so we are continuing on with our Irish journal that I started in honour of St. Patrick's Day. No guarantees that we're going to get this finished today, but I am going to attempt it, okay? So let's see. Okay, so I have my signatures here. As you can see, I have put a piece of lace down here. I think that is pretty much everything that I got done since I last spoke to you. It's just, I find it so hard to get in here during the week. So let's continue on. I have slipped a few bits and pieces in where I might want them and things like that. So we are going to start kind of doing a few bits of the signatures first of all, and then we will look at the binding. Okay, so for this page I wanted to possibly add this. Love this pattern. It came from the inside of a security envelope, as you can see there, and I'm thinking that I want to attach this here, fold this around because I have my border here, fold it around so that this has a nice border on this side, but this is going to be a flip out. Okay, so I need to back this part of it with something, but I also want to emboss this with an embossing folder. Now this comes from a book about Dublin, so I don't think I'm actually going to cover that up, but doing the embossing you'll still be able to see the writing and read it, and it'll still be interesting. And then we'll have this page, I'll back it with something that can be journaled on, so it's still a useful kind of page in the journal. Okay, so let's start by getting this embossed first of all. Now I'm not going to emboss this side because I really like this. I don't want to disturb this in any way, so we'll be doing something else with that. So first of all, let's get that done. Okay, so we have that done. It looks a little bit crinkly, but I'm actually okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and use it, and it looks so pretty, but I do want to kind of pick out this pattern just very lightly. Now I have several different colours of inks out at the moment. I am going to try this with the bundled sage. Now there is some frayed burlap and things like that on my sponge already, so hopefully that will give it a little bit of a vintage tone to the green, even though these inks are fairly vintage anyway. I'm just very lightly, I'm not being too worried about whether it gets in the background or not. I just want to make sure that that pattern is showing up. A very, very light hand here. So it's not very dark and very obvious, but it is picking up very nicely, and you can see very nicely that there is a pattern there. I love it. Okay, so that is that part. Now we need to get our green piece, if I can find it now, under here. And I need to back this part with something. Now I want to see how much of this do I need as a lip over here to fold it over nicely. I'm going to say about there to fold. I'm just going to get my ruler and hopefully be able to fold that. It's quite flimsy with this patterning on the edge, so hopefully we'll be able to do that nicely. Okay, so we need to get this part backed before I go any further. Alright, let's see what we have for that. Okay, so I didn't want to put anything too dark or too patterned on the back of this because I want it to be used as a journaling space, so I'm thinking just something like that. Again, one of my end papers from an old book. This one actually has writing on that I might use somewhere else, so yeah, this one, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to get this glued onto here very quickly. Okay, Yoo-hoo is my saving grace. I love the stuff. I really do have to kind of invest in a batch of it. Okay, so let's get this chopped down. I'm thinking, will I tear that? I think I will. Just a rough edge with my ruler. So let's get this glued into place and then I'm going to chop it down. First thing I'm going to do before I glue this is I want to ink it. I'm going to ink it with frayed burlap. Now you might wonder why I inked the back of this, and the reason I do that is because when I'm inking the back of it, the sponge gets down into these little holes here and kind of gets into the edges, and it does show to a certain extent on the front, and it does give a little bit more definition on the piece. Okay, which is kind of necessary in this case because we have that patterning there as well. Okay, so let's get the yoo-hoo down. Okay, I'm going to trim this off. Okay, so we have a journeying spot. Hooray! Now, it needs a little bit of decoration, doesn't it? It needs something. So I would like a stamp in here. Now, very strange and very unfortunate circumstance is that I don't have any Irish themed stamps, which is, yeah, very, very unfortunate. But I do have some stencils here. Okay. Now, I don't want to go hugely heavy with the patterning though because of this. Okay, so I have picked out a couple of stamps. Now, I didn't have a whole lot that was feasible for this journal. I mean, I particularly want to keep this Irish based. I'm trying to not be generic about things. There are a lot of generic stamps I could have used, but I picked these ones for a reason. Okay, so this is actually a rabbit, but I'm going to use it as a hare because did you know the hare is the national animal of Ireland? So I'm going to use that. And then we have a primrose stamp. Now, I know the primroses are not exclusive to Ireland in any way, but they remind me very much of my childhood in Ireland. Primroses were everywhere when I was a child. So that's that. Then I have the word luck, and I have the little phrase, friends gather here. And I want to include that one because Ireland is known for being an extremely friendly country, and it is true, we are very, very friendly people. So yeah, friends do gather here quite a lot. Okay, so what am I going to put down here? I also pulled out actually some from my tissue stamp book. These have little stamps on them. They're quite faint, but I'm okay with that. And I'm thinking I might actually use one of those here. It'll tie in with this as well, the colouring. It's a very similar colour. And it'll be subtle, so I'm going to use a little bit of that there. I'm going to use my matte glue. Get that. Slap dash in it again. It's my favourite way. I think we all know that by now. But it works. It's a very effective way to place things. Just put them down, slap dash, and it just looks so authentic. It's like those pieces were just put down over the years and that they belong there. They weren't just placed there by somebody trying to make something look pretty. That's that. Obviously going to need to wait for that to dry, which I don't like doing. Do we know that already? I'm impatient. Do we know that? Yes, we know that. It's already looking pretty good. I'm going to hit that with the heat gun. Speed things up a little bit. Okay, now that hasn't actually disappeared into the piece as much as I would like, but that's okay. That's that. I am going to just hit it very quickly with my dauber with no extra ink added. I'm just going to run it over the top of it like so. Help it blend a little bit more. It's a different colour, but it still works. So you can see, just that very subtle piece. It's there. You know, it's something when you open the thing. The flap is the word I'm looking for. And I'm thinking too that I might put a tab here, but I want something down here to cover this. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Okay, so let's get that one stuck down. Okay, so I folded it over the edge as though it was a piece of washi. Why not? That's another little bit of interest in there. Get that trimmed off. Okay, so that is what we have so far. Now we need something on the front of this. Let's see what we can find. That might be cool to use it as a pocket. It's an Aer Lingus flight ticket, as you can see. It's actually a boarding pass. So that might actually be cool to put down there. I'll leave it as a tuck. Okay, well let's try that. I'm going to cut this. I don't want this part, so I'm going to cut it straight across the top of that. And I'm going to take the Aer Lingus and leave the shamrock. I can use that elsewhere. That will make a pretty cool tuck. Awesome. Very Irish name on it as well. This just was in a book that I got in the charity shop. It was just slipped in between the pages, so I don't know this person. I'm not giving anybody his personal information. There's no way of knowing who he is. So his name was Kieran Byrne. Very Irish name. So let's get that glued into place. Fabulous. Okay. I think that is fine for that. Now, so we got one page done. That's that one. I've also got some of these ready to go. I like this one on here. You see? I like this pocket down here, and it has the added benefit of, this is an ink smear from my printer. So it hides that quite nicely as well. I like this on this side of the page, and it draws the eye across the page. Okay, so I'm going to get that stuck down. I want that there. Lovely. I'm wondering, should I have put some lace across that before I stuck it down? Probably. About something like that. Oh, I like the fact that that is not cut straight as well. Yeah, I'm going to put that on there. It's perfect length. Look at that. It was made for it. Made for it, I tell you. Okay. Okay. I like that. I'm in a mess with my glue here. It's after spitting glue out all over the place, so I'm just going to use a tiny bit of it down here just to keep that bit down. Now, because my glue is spitting at me, I am going to make the very quick and not thought out decision to actually glue this flap down. Don't know if I'm going to regret that or not, but let's get the glue used. Yeah, I might regret that. It's just that the paper is so very light. But we'll see. What have we got? So what I'm going to cover this envelope and get this sorted out. Now, orange being one of the colours on the flag. Oh, and I actually need to speak to you about that. So, the official colours of the Irish flag are green, white and orange. And they have political and religious symbology in there, okay? I'm not going to go into that. But when I was growing up, the colours of the flag were always said to be green, white and gold. And you will all have heard green, white and gold. I was actually flabbergasted when I heard that, when I discovered that the official colours were green, white and orange. It's not something that's really taught in Irish schools. Maybe it is now. It wasn't when I was a kid. It was green, white and gold. We were never taught the symbolism of it, which I think is a bit of a failing, to be honest. But yeah, I was kind of shocked because I had always thought it was green, white and gold. So for my cover, I am sticking with the green, white and gold. That is what I think of it. That is how it will always be in my head. But this orange does work with the Irish theme as well. So all that to say, it doesn't really matter if some of this peeks through. As you can see, it's an Amazon envelope. Don't know what it was for. But yeah, so it doesn't matter if some of that shows through. Now, I do also have here a piece from a newspaper. This was one of our local newspapers. This would have been probably St. Patrick's Day edition, maybe. It's been around for a while in my stash, so I can't remember. So I'm thinking I might collage that on there somehow as well. Okay, let's open it out anyway for a start. Oops. And this is what we're working with on this surface. I have all sorts of kit papers here, bits and pieces of kit papers, so I'm probably just going to use some of those and maybe some book page, things like that. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to get that stuck down there, and I'll come back to you guys. Don't you just love the foxy on this paper? Oh, love it. Okay, I'm going to use my ES paste for this, so it's going to get messy, just so you guys know. I will either put the video on speed or I'll skip this part and come back to you when I have it done. Okay, so I have my envelope covered front and back, and I've also done lined the inside of it. It's looking good, but I don't want to bend it too far and things at the moment while it's still wet, so I'm going to put that aside for now, and let's continue. Okay, now the beautiful and wonderful Phyllis Joseph sent me at Christmas, we were doing the 12 Days of Christmas swap, Secret Santa swap, and she sent me some printable acetate. Now, I've been so looking forward to playing with this stuff, and I thought that maybe this project would be a great way to use it. I was going to attempt to do some stained glass windows in the pages, in one or two of the pages, but unfortunately I went playing last night and started printing, and it started printing absolutely beautifully. Look at that, it looks stunning. And I went and I designed these windows and everything myself. I put some time into it, and I'm so disappointed. It just stopped printing. It got to there and then it just fed the paper out, and I had another one ready to go as well, so I tried that, same thing. I put it back in a second time and tried it, and same thing. So if there are any of you out there who have an EcoTank printer and can manage to print on this printable acetate, hit me up in the comments and let me know what I'm doing wrong. I fed it through this end first. It doesn't say that you need to put any paper or anything behind it, but I might try that. But yeah, I was very disappointed. So no stained glass windows in this book, but as an alternative, I do have an alternative. I might attempt some inclusion pages. Now, inclusion pages involve putting a different material. It could be a different paper, it could be fabric, plastic, acetate, tracing paper, anything you want, onto the page, and then kind of making it so that it's alternating. Now, my only issue with doing that is if you were to tear all the way to the edge of the page, then if you're using something like lace or fabric or something, it's going to be quite floppy. So I'm going to do it in a kind of a window almost kind of fashion, but in a very organic kind of way. It's not going to be a square window kind of thing. Anyway, let me get on with it. So I was thinking I'd like to use this, but with the beading on it, I'm not sure I will be able to work that properly. I don't know. Now, I do have other options, some of which I'm actually going to be using on my front cover, but I do have this one as well. I love this stuff. It is very thick, and I think it would be very hard to work with in a situation like that. And I also have this stuff. Now, this is quite vintage, this one, and I have very, very little vintage lace and stuff like that. But wouldn't that be beautiful just as a belly band? What I'm going to do right now, I am going to go and get this sewn, a piece of this at least. And I'm going to get it sewn, kind of slapped out onto the page. I'm going to sew it onto the back of the page, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it when I come back. Okay, so I actually decided to do this on the opposite side of the page. So it's on this leaf rather than on this leaf, okay? And the reason I did that was because we're going to be able to see this lady through when we're done, okay? So I have my lace, sewed it on there. Just wondering, do I want to leave that coming across? I don't. So I'm going to cut that off. Okay. Now, I am going to tear out this section of paper. Now, I'm not going to tear it all the way up to the stitching, obviously. But we're going to tear out a section of it and hope that I got it positioned correctly. Now, you might need a little bit of help to get this started. So a pokey tool is great. And start in the middle. Make it safe. And just and just start by lifting it. I seem to be getting caught on the lace. I'm not. There we go. So that's a good start. I'm just going to start tearing around this. Like I said, not too close to the edge. If you want to, you can get a ruler and just kind of help stop going too close. I'm not trying not to tear a straight line here as well, okay? I want this to look quite bitty. And I'm tearing kind of from the center out. I'm not going all the ways around. I'm tearing kind of back from the center, because I want to try something else here as well. Okay, so let's see what we have so far. She's peeking out, but not as much as I would have wanted. Ah, okay. Okay, if we push that page up to the top, we'll get her in there. Okay. So yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Now, what I want to do, I'm taking out some pieces of this. I'm not leaving all of these pieces in. But I want to try rolling it back just to see if that will work. It might not work with this paper because it's actually quite thick paper, this one. So maybe if I get something around, just to curl it a little bit. Okay, so I like the idea. I don't like the actual doing of it, but I am thinking I will actually just rip it. And because of the way I have it done now, I'm going to use a ruler and do a straight line on it, because I really don't want it to get too close to that stitching. Now, it could be just the thickness of the paper here as well. It is quite thick. But, yeah, I think it would have kind of made that page very bulky as well. So maybe not kind of the best thing to do on a page. But, you know, an idea for you guys if you want to try it out. And it is a very rough and ready kind of window page. And I love that. Okay, let's see. Now see, even when I picked that up, it was very floppy like that. So if I'd gone all the way to the edge, it would have no integrity about it. Okay. Let us see what we think. Okay, I like that her face is peeking through. Very, very nice. Very cute. I like that. And then on the other side, we have the actual lace. And you can see the writing through there. That's pretty cool. Okay. So that's another page kind of decor done. What have we got? This page is bothering me. I don't like that fold at all. I really shouldn't have attempted that. Let me see. It does seem to want to rip up. I don't mind rough edges like that. I think we all know that by now. But it's very, very thin now. So I'm going to do the usual. I am going to just take off that edge. It's going to be a slightly shorter page. Again, doesn't bother me. Tuck here. I think I'm going to put a pocket on this page. And I'm going to stamp here. I kind of was thinking I wanted to put a pocket in here, but don't know would it work with that paper being so thin. Okay, I'm actually going to put a pocket here because I think it might stabilize that page. Okay, decision made. I could be completely wrong about that. I could completely regret this, but we'll see. So I have these pieces from my mixed medium masterboard that I made for my last collaboration video, if you remember that. If you don't remember that, or if you haven't seen it, by all means go and have a peek at it. It was 20 ways to restart your mojo. And I'm going to make this a slip pocket. I'm not doing gussets in this. Okay. So we want it there to there. Let's see. I mean, this is quite heavy, so I don't know that this is going to work, guys. Flying by the seat of my pants, as usual. I like how it looks. It obviously needs decorating, but I like how it looks. Now I'm going to put a thumb notch in this. Okay, so my sewing is not the best around cards. I do well on coming up to it, but out the other side, not so well. But it's okay. It's junk journaling. We kind of like that kind of stuff. I need something to back this. I do want that on there, I think. But I need something to back it. Maybe some lace. Okay, so I'm going to get this harp and this piece, this sentiment and the lace put down. Motoring on. Okay, so I decided to change the positioning of the sentiment slightly. I think it just looks much nicer there. So let's get our pocket glued down. Beautiful. Oh, I actually really like that. So happy with how that turned out. And those that Masterboard that I did, I really wasn't thinking about this journal or an Irish journal at all while I was doing it, but it's just so perfect. It worked out so great. So great. So, okay. Yeah, I'm going to do a stamp on this. I might stencil on that. Okay, I'm going to have the stamp of the hair up here. Is he facing the wrong way for this page? He might be. I might have him here instead. Yeah, and I'm going to put him up there. Okay. Oh, it looks cute. Yes. So happy with that. Love it. Did I say rabbit or did I say hare? I meant hare. He's a hare, okay? Okay, so that is that. Now on this side I'm actually going to do a cluster type thing, methinks. So I have lots of little bits here. Have some strips of paper here. That might be really cool as well. Let's get these cut out. Okay. So I'm thinking some strips, like so. Obviously I'll take a strip off of this. Might put that one behind. Have this one here so that we're alternating. Some book paper. And then I'll put a focal point on the front. Okay, so the way I'm going to do this, I am going to glue to this piece of card. Quite funny story actually. My little honorary granddaughter, I call her, she's actually my goddaughter, Robin. You may remember her. She did one of our St. Patrick's videos last year actually. She's 9 years old and she presented me with this last weekend. They were here, oh sorry, 2 weekends ago. She was actually getting, I don't know what it came from, was it some cakes or something like that, or was it a toy? I'm not sure. But she presented me with this and proceeded to tell me that I could use it in my journal somewhere. So there you go. I'm training her young. She's so funny. She picks up everything, you know. So I'm going to try and, alright, this is going to be the longest one. So I'm just going to cut off a piece of this. That one. Page next, going to cut off the top of this. Okay, so I have those all stuck down onto my piece of card. I'm just going to cut around it. Love this Irish dancing girl. I was an Irish dancer as a child. I won many competitions and things for it. Love it. I was actually recently looking for a an adult class and there doesn't seem to be any, which is a shame. There might be in the bigger cities, but certainly not around here. But I'd love to get back into it, and you'd be extremely fit from doing it, let me tell you. But yeah, loved it when I was a child. Won many competitions. Used to love going to feshes, we call them, for the dancing. Loved it. So I'm just cutting around these so that they're all on the card. And I'm going to leave this jagged edge. I'm just going to cut around it as best I can. Just giving it a little wiggle every now and again. Voila. Yeah, so I was going to glue it, but I might actually sew it. I'll sew through the bunny's tail, the hare's tail. Will that matter? What do you guys think? Safer to just glue it, and it'll make a nice little tuck spot. I really like that. I might put just a straight stitch down there. I won't use a zigzag stitch, but I think I'll do it with a straight stitch. I think that won't interfere with our hair too much. Okay, so we have that stitched on. Now I forgot to mention as well, I'm using a green thread on top and a brown thread underneath. I just like the variation that gives, and to be perfectly honest, all of my bobbins were filled and there wasn't room to I didn't have a free one to put some green thread on, but the brown works, so I'm happy with that. Now we end up with a little side tuck. Love it! And I love the sturdiness of that as well. I like that method of doing it. Okay, so that's that. That's that. That's that. That's that. So I wanted one of these here with some stenciling. Okay. Stencils. I have a few stencils pulled out, but this one is kind of calling to me right now. Okay. So I'm going to take this page out of here, and do I want to do it all the way across? Do you know what? I think I might as well. So I have several colours of inks out, as I said. I have bundle sage, I have frayed burlap, I have forest moss, hickory smoke, brush corduroy, and vintage photo. Voila! And I'm putting one of these down here. I think I'm going to go with one of these ones, the larger one as well. Just going to put that up there. I might put something behind it. Let's get it inked. Do I want something behind it? Okay, do you know what? I'm going to come back to that. That's not a big deal right now. Okay. They can be left as is for now anyway. Here we have corner pocket. What do we want to do with this page? Might do some sort of a tip in on that, a shorter kind of tip in. I'm kind of not liking the fact that they're the same size, so maybe something like this that could be flipped out. I could do an envelope tip in. I do like this envelope. It would have to go the other way, obviously. Well, it wouldn't, it could go anyway. Could actually do it that way. Have it open out that. Could actually put it in like that and have it open like that so that the whole thing opens. Not loving that because of the fact that you get to see that white there. But it's an intriguing idea. Or I could have it open out like that and have it as a pocket. What are we interfering with back here then? Oh yeah, that's not going to work there like that anyway, but definitely something to think about for the future. Okay. But I could still do it that way. Have a flip open, have that glued down to the page, and have that as a pocket. Okay, you guys, I think I have a plan. Whoa. My goodness. Surprising myself here. Okay, so I'm going to glue this piece down here, but first I'm going to ink this. Okay. Okay, so that's that part. Now, I'm going to glue up my envelope this way. I have all my edges inked that I need edged, pretty much. So let's get my envelope glued up. Now, I'm gluing this flap first because I want the shamrock on top. So when I'm gluing this, I want to make sure I'm not gluing my pocket shut. I'm putting a thin line of glue on this edge. I also need to make sure that there's nothing getting caught as it's going in and out. And I'm putting a thin line of glue along this edge here. And same thing, thin line along this edge. And a thin line on this edge. And now we have the pocket. course, if I left it alone to actually dry, we'd have a pocket. Oh, I'm such a child. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my ruler. I'm going to lay it along this edge here. You know where the fold naturally was on the envelope? I'll lay it on there from this side. I'm going to fold that up. Get it folded. Actually, I should have done that the other way. But not to worry. There we go. Oh no, I had it right. Ah! I had it the right way. Look at that. So then I'm going to be able to glue that little hinge there, and it'll flip out as a pocket. And I think that the opening goes deep enough in this that it's not going to hamper being able to take anything out. Okay, so we have loads of room there. So let's get that stuck down. Oh, I love it. And flip over like that. Ah, awesome. Love it. Okay, so that's another page pretty much done. Okay, so you can see that we've added a few bits and pieces in here. We've added pockets and things like that. But look at how slim that signature still is. Okay, so it really makes a huge difference using those few kind of pages. I mean, this is quite a thick pocket. That's based in cardboard. You know, there's nothing, I haven't scrimped on it. We have a couple of extra tip-ins. That's quite sturdy as well. And, you know, we have another tip-in there. And none of it seems to be kind of bulking out as much as it would if we had a fatter signature. Still loving this. Love it. Love how she peeps through. I may have to do a little bit extra with this side of the page. We'll see when we get back. I'm liking how it's going so far. Kind of tear it and fold it and all that sort of good stuff, like it's just been torn out. Like that. Okay, so we'll leave it there. Okay, you guys, it's Sunday evening. I spent all day yesterday in my craft room working on this journal. I came in with the intention of getting a little bit ahead and then turning on the camera and doing a few bits with you guys. The day just passed. I was just having so much fun. The day was gone before I even realized it. So I'll just run through and show you guys what I have done. Okay, so you've seen most of this signature, but I have added one or two little bits. So I'm going to go through it very quickly with you guys. So we've seen this. I think we've seen this tuck here as well. Some stamping. This pocket. I don't know if I had that done with you guys, but I added that on there. And I added this label down here, just needed something on the page. Saw this pocket, I'm sure. Center page, corner pocket. Oh, stuck in place. Sure, we did this together on camera, where I made my envelope into a pocket. That's that. Some lace down the side of this page with some stenciling. I'm not sure that you guys saw this. This is a doily that I printed. If you may not have seen, or you may have seen, Cheryl Talafus did a video on printing on doilies, and I followed along with that video at the time. So I had a couple of these doilies, and this was perfect for this journal. So I put that down there with some gold trim. Now I think I will most likely put an image on this page as well. I think that will look amazing. Maybe not that particular image, but maybe that particular image. It's quite nice. But we'll see. I will be probably putting an image down there. Okay, so we saw this window, but I think I hadn't done that on camera, so I just added a little something up at the top of the page. This is some heat embossing that I did there, gold heat embossing. Again, just to add something onto the page. It looks very blank. And that is the first signature. Okay, so we're on to signature 2. On the first page of this signature was a short page. So I took an envelope that I had made from a neutral masterboard. I made that on the 50 ways to kickstart your mojo video. Actually, I've used quite a few of the bits from that video in here for some reason. They just all seem to work in here. So yeah, this is the large envelope that I made from that masterboard. I've obviously put an image on the front, a little bit of trim down here. That's also one of the words that I stamped in that video. On the actual page itself, I have done a Celtic cross with some texture paste, and I've mixed my texture pastes. I've used white and gold texture paste here. Not sure that it turned out exactly how I wanted it. The gold kind of dulled down a lot. in some places, so I'm not sure I'd kind of do it that way again. Might be something to kind of work with and look into kind of doing a better job with. So that's a pocket. I just stuck my 4-leaf clover down here, and on the other side this is the flap of the envelope, and I've made a pocket out of that, and there is also a tuck here as well. Okay, so that's that. I may put some narrow trim down here, I'm not sure yet. Now I just realised that these two pages, they both have era on top, so I'll probably move this page around in the signature, we'll see. So yeah, I've put era up there, and I have stamped down here, friends gather here, so I thought that was very fitting. I really like that. Then we have a large paint chip. I've played with these before. I definitely used some in my autumn journals, and on this one I have dry embossed the pattern. I have heat embossed in the background of that pattern and sewn it down with some lace, and it is a duck spot. Now I have stamped the word luck down here. I'm not 100% sure I like that. Maybe if I had done it in the gold heat embossing it might work. I may end up just cutting that off. I'm not sure yet. Could end up covering it with lace, don't know, but I'm not sure that'll stay there. That might change. Okay, so then over here I took one of the whale tail tabs that comes with the kit, and I cut it in half, stuck each half down, top and bottom, and it makes a little tuck spot for a little scrappy notebook. Okay, now on the back of this notebook I have put the map of Ireland, and you'll see a little heart here, and that is down around the area that I live in. Okay, so that is that. That is probably the only reference to St. Patrick's Day in the book. This is not a St. Patrick's Day journal, it is an Irish journal. Okay, so that is that, and I really like this page with that notebook on there. So yeah, very happy with that. Didn't do anything with this page, I just love this page and don't think it needed anything. This is my large map pocket page that you saw me make on the first video for this series. I have a map in there at the minute, and I really like that map, and I may leave it in there, not sure yet. But I've covered the actual pocket itself. I have left this free, but I may cover that. I have covered the other side, put some advertising from that Irish book that I'm using, and a stamp down here to kind of delineate all the little pockets and tucks. Just a strip of lace on this page, didn't really need anything. I love that patterning on there, it's just so beautiful. And on this page I have my burrito pocket. Again, this was made in the 20 Ways to Kickstart Your Mojo video. Colours just worked so perfectly in here. So it's a burrito pocket, so you tuck something in there, but I've also made it into a belly band so you can tuck behind it. I have a piece of paper to show you these things. So tuck in there, and this page comes from a book that I've been using. I used one or two of the pages from this in my autumn journals as well, but in that book there was this page, and it has a poem on it called Digging by Seamus Heaney. So Seamus Heaney is an Irish poet. I would have studied him in school, so I really liked the idea of putting that in here. It's a poem about digging, which I find is very fitting as well. It also talks about collecting spuds, potatoes, going down the farm, having the field tilled, and you go along and you pick up the spuds. We used to do that as kids. We used to go picking spuds. It was our way to earn a little extra kind of pocket money. So yeah, it kind of brings back memories for me. So yeah, love that page. I made it into a flip out and a pocket, obviously here as well. Nice large pocket. So that's that. Then we have this page. Doesn't have anything on it. Don't think it needs anything. Our little dancing girly. On this one I have put a little corner tuck down here. I adore how this came out. I cut 3 little hearts from paint chips in the green, white and gold. It's actually cream, but you know. And I've edged them all with some gold heat embossing, and I think it turned out absolutely adorable. I love it. So simple and so cute. Okay, so that's that one. Nothing again on this page, didn't think it needed it. Love it. Down here we have an embroidered fabric corner tuck. That's that. In here we have a nice large pocket. Lots can fit in there. Actually, it's more of a tuck than a pocket. I've left it open on the side. This page, I was playing with paint chips. I pulled out all the paint chips that I had in green and the other colours that I thought would work with this kit and for this journal. And as I was looking at all the green ones, I was thinking 40 shades of green, as you do. So I have put them all down here in a row. This one I had already cut the heart for that little pocket back there. So I just put some gold embossed paper behind that and used that in there as well. Strip of paper from a book that I have. I just love the borders on the pages for that book. And a tiny piece of gold trim, and this is a pocket all the way down as well. This piece in the back, I have obviously dyed it with my Distress Oxides. It is a poem and illustration by Walter Crane. I absolutely adore Walter Crane's art. And I came across these images quite a while ago. They are the months, and I have all 12 months, and they are actually available in my Etsy shop. They're available in 3 colours on my Etsy shop. We have sepia tones, we have, I think there's a purple one and an aqua one in the shop as well at the moment. So yep, that's that. And I chose the March page because why not? It does mention actually green, her garments tinted green, flutter all loose and free. Plus it's the month for St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so that is that page. Then we have our map page back here and our pocket down here, which needs to be glued because I keep forgetting that there's a piece of tape behind here and I keep using the wrong glue on it, so I need to stick that down with glossy accents. Okay, then on this page we have a little tuck up here again on the opposite side of the page. I do like putting stuff into the center of signatures. It's not something we do an awful lot, but I actually quite like it. So that is that one there. Just a few strips of leftover papers with a couple of pieces of ephemera, and I just sewed it to the page. They're all glued together and sewed to the page. Okay, so that's that. Love that. I just love that background page. Love it. It's beautiful. Then we have When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. We put some green organza ribbon and some lace down the side of that. Did some stenciling on this page with all the different inks. A few different stencils. On this one we have a quote by Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde is an Irish writer and playwright, just in case you didn't know who he was. And I just happen to have this quote in actually the same book that I got that edging from. This edging. It's a book about friendship, and the quote is, "Friendship never forgets, that is the wonderful thing about it." And it's done in a nice kind of, not quite a Celtic script, but it lends itself to that. Okay, so I've used that down there with some gold and green organza and a nice writing page there. This was the other side of that copybook page, and I have just laid down some tea-stained deli paper to make it a nice place for writing. I may end up putting something down this edge, not sure yet. I quite like the way it looks, and on the back of it I have taken the deli paper and folded it up to the other side, made a pocket with it, like so, and just give it a little trim with some lace and some gold heat embossing down here as well. And obviously I have dyed this page also with my inks. Okay, so that is the extent of what I have done. We do still have another full signature to go. Now, I was hoping to be able to get this journal finished in 2 videos. Slightly ambitious, just a tiny bit ambitious. It's not going to happen, obviously, but hopefully I'll be able to get it done in 3, maybe. I'm not sure that it's going to even get done in 3, simply because as I'm kind of working through the journal, my brain is thinking about the cover and what I want to do with the cover and how I want to execute the cover and things like that. And it's getting more complex and more involved as I go along. So we'll see. If I can bring that back to be a bit more simple, we'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I will try and get to this 3rd signature during the week to try and get a head start. I find it very difficult to get in here during the week, so I'm not promising that that will happen. But considering what I have experienced this weekend with just losing time because I was enjoying myself so much just crafting, I am going to be looking at possibly putting my videos out on a different day, because I really only get to come in here at weekends and I spend the weekend filming the actual video. and then I have to go and edit and upload and make the thumbnails, do the photographs, that kind of stuff. So my weekend is gone, and I actually get very, very little time to craft, and I am really missing crafting. So I'm thinking that if I give the weekend actually crafting and filming, and then try to do the edit kind of Monday, Tuesday evening, and maybe put it out on Tuesday if I get it out on Tuesday, but more likely Wednesdays. I don't know that it's going to work out like that, but I'm going to kind of look at maybe doing it that way. The other thing that I wanted, and I'd like to know what you guys think of that. Would you prefer me to keep it on the Sunday? Would you prefer me to just kind of film a week ahead, which means that we'll miss 1 week at some point, I'm sure. Or does it bother you what day I put it out? Let me know in the comments. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you guys about was, since January this year, I have been doing a lot more kind of process and craft with me videos, as opposed to more tutorial type videos that I have been doing all along. And I'm just curious, how are you guys finding that? Are you liking that? Would you prefer me to go back to doing tutorials? Would you prefer a mix? Do you want to see projects go from start to finish, or does it bother you to see it finished? Would you prefer me to see me kind of jump in and jump out as I'm doing projects, that kind of thing? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I really want to make content that you want to watch, and I feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm making content that you don't want to watch, obviously. You know, these videos they're essentially for you, but I get a lot out of them as well. Would never say that I don't, but they are for you. I get a lot back from them because you are liking them. So it's important to me that I'm giving you what you want. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Alright, so that is it for me for today, guys. We will continue with this in the next video, depending on where I am. We'll start off there. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.